What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel. Now, today we are going to be adding yet another page to our competitive decks, and it is going to be the final of the Swords of Justice, and that is going to be Keldeo. Now, some argue that Keldeo is the best of the Swords of Justice. I don't know if I agree with that, but it is definitely very strong, and it was able to stay in OU, even though it only had half a month to post usage statistics. It was able to stay. So that just goes to show you just how powerful this thing is. So this Interaction, very strong, and there's a reason. If you look at the stat distribution of the Swords of Justice, you'll notice that Keldeo has base 129 special attack and a base 72 attack. If you look at Terrakion, it has all of the same stats except attack and special attack are flopped. Then if you look at Cobalion and Virizion, you swap defenses and those go to the offensives, and then the attack and special attack go to their defenses. So Cobalion has base 129 defense, while Virizion has base 129 special defense. That whole thing, they just trade stats around, and all of them have 91 HP and 108 speed. So that 108 speed is what makes the Swords of Justice very volatile right now and makes them very good at what they do. And 91 HP is not bad. It's not bad at all, so they can actually take some decent hits. And 90 defenses with 91 HP, you can take a surprising amount of hits, even uninvested. Even super effective hits, you'll take sometimes surprisingly better than what you thought. And then if you bulk up some, yeah, you can take hits. It's pretty cool. But typically we're going to run this in a more offensive fashion just to take advantage of that high special attack. Now, where Keldeo really struggles is its move pool. Its move pool is very limited. It got Air Slash this gen, which is cool, but not super useful for this. Aqua Jet for priority, but that's physical. We don't really like that. Aqua Tail's physical, don't care. Aura Sphere if you don't want to run Secret Sword, but typically you're going to want to run Secret Sword. Calm Mind is pretty good. It's pretty notable if you want to run physical close combat. We've got Focus Blast if you want to run that over Secret Sword. I tend to run Secret Sword over this for a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to miss, and we all know that I have the worst luck when it comes to hitting moves, especially Thunder Waves for some reason. And yeah, this is going to miss a lot. And so I run Secret Sword over this, and Secret Sword also has another property which we'll get to. Hydro Pump, I'll risk it on a Hydro Pump. It has 80% and it does 110 base damage, which is crazy. Icy Wind, it's the only ice type move that Keldeo gets. If it got Ice Beam, Keldeo would be a lot better than what it is, and I think that's what's holding it back, is it doesn't get good ice type coverage, which is just unfortunate. It has previously relied on Hidden Power, but obviously we don't have Hidden Power anymore, so we have to get a little creative with this. Liquidation, that's physical. Low Kick, physical. Mega Horn, physical. Poison Jab, physical. It gets decent physical coverage, but it just doesn't have the stats in order to cover it, because Mega Horn covers your Psychics, Poison Jab covers your Fairies. All this stuff that would be great to cover, but we don't have the stats to really help. We have Reflect, but not Light Screen, which is whatever. We have Roar, which would be a really interesting tech. And then we have Scald. Obviously, that helps us with our with taking hits. And Secret Sword. Secret Sword works like Psyshock in it takes your special attack, which is very high, and then bases it on your target's defense. So if your opponent tries to bring in a special wall, they are going to get hurt quite a bit because it's going to take into effect their physical defense. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. We have Stone Edge, which would cover flying types, but again, physical. Sub, which we might be able to use. We've got Superpower, but that's physical. Surf would be an alternative to Hydro Pump if you would like to not miss, but it's a little bit stronger. SD, it gets Taunt, so it can work as kind of an anti-lead, help you against Ferrothorn. And then Toxic and X-Scissor. X-Scissor also covers Psychic types. So that's basically all of this thing's useful moves. And there's not many. So yeah, this first set is going to be a choice spec set, and Scald is there to weaken your opponents down. It does good damage, but it has the chance to burn, and that is what we are looking for, is being able to weaken those physical attackers, things like Darmanitan, which are running around right now. They do not appreciate being burned. And so, yeah, but since this meta is so physically based, Scald has only gotten better. Now, why are we running Toxic on a Specs set? That's probably what you're looking at. It's probably what you're wondering. Well, that's for our good buddy Seismitoad. Seismitoad is the switch-in to a Keldeo right now, and it's on a lot of teams. It has Water Absorb, so it ignores your Scalds and your Hydro Pumps, and your Secret Swords don't really do all that much damage to it because it's so naturally bulky. However, if you click Toxic on that thing's switch-in, it is no longer an answer. And so you can really mess up those bulky mons that want to come in and take your hits. And it really helps Keldeo to get out of some sticky situations. It has a lot of things that wall it. And one thing that still walls it, pretty much no matter what you do, is going to be Toxapex. You have to watch out for that. You need answers to Toxapex on your team because Keldeo isn't going to be able to do it, unfortunately. But it can still put in some decent work. So that's why I like having Toxic on this. It helps you to break down those things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to, touch. And yeah, it's nice. It's really, really good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get to this is basically our runner-up to our meme, but I thought it should be considered just because it does actually put in a little bit of work. Even at base, 70 attack, 72 attack, this thing can put in some work at +2. At +2, you can actually OHKO quite a bit of things in the meta with the Life Orb help. And so this actually isn't that bad, especially since, like I said, a lot of people are going to bring in their special walls on Keldeo. They expect it to be special because it usually is, because it has such a high stat. But you click SD on the switch, which is what Keldeo does really well. That is what really makes this thing shine, is that it forces switches a lot, and so it can oftentimes get that Swords Dance off for free. And so they switch into their special wall, you set up a Swords Dance, and now you can go to town. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, I calculated against a Terrakion. You kill a Terrakion twice over, and assuming you win that speed tie, yeah, you kill it twice over, which is pretty cool. Corviknight, that's another big deal. Let's see what you do to Corviknight. Corviknight, yeah, at +2, you do 79 to 93, which is pretty crazy. That is a 37% chance to OHKO after rocks, and if it's holding leftovers. And yeah, that's with max HP and a little bit of defense. So yeah, it hits like a truck, man. It's pretty crazy looking at what this thing can do. Corviknight would definitely be a switch-in that you would see to this, but typically they would be expecting just a stock or specs secret sword, and so they don't expect to have to take a +2 close combat, which actually is going to do a ton of damage. So something to consider. It is a little bit of a meme, not a ton of a meme, but a little bit. And it can put in some work. It actually, I've used it in the past, and it actually can do work. So don't sleep on Keldeo. It'll help you out. All right, so now we have Sub Calm Mind. I have used this set in prior Wi-Fi battles before. I'll throw the Wi-Fi battle playlist up in the iCard above for you to check out. But yeah, Sub Calm Mind is pretty cool because, again, it forces switches. And so when they swap out, you click Substitute, and then you click Calm Mind. You're now becoming bulkier on the special side, and you can burn with Scald to help you on the physical side. It just works well together. And so if you can wear something down that's physical and it can no longer do that much damage to you, that's free substitutes, free Calm Minds to get even stronger. And once you get to a certain point, nothing's really going to be able to touch you, and you can just run train all the way through these teams. I do have Modest on this one, but you can definitely still run Timid, but I like having the extra power on the Sub Calm Mind set. Next is Scarf, and this is just to show a few options that you have on the special side. This thing doesn't get any kind of U-turn or any kind of thing like that. That would really help this thing's utility, but it doesn't get it. And basically this is there to catch other Scarfers off guard. Usually you run Keldeo as specs, but Scarf isn't bad either. Scarf is not bad at all, and I think it'd be pretty cool to see this thing shine with Hydro Pump, Secret Sword. You now have Air Slash, and that helps you with flinch chances. That's why we're running Scarf, so you can go first. Icy Wind helps things to be slowed down. So basically, if you're in a pinch and you need to slow something down on the opponent's team, say something like a Dragapult on the switch in or anything like that, you can click that and it will slow it down for later. All right, so we're getting to our meme, and basically this thing has such a small move pool, it's really hard to actually come up with a meme, but we've got basically Crocoon on a Keldeo. Now, why is this okay and why is this not okay? So it's actually okay because this thing actually has not terrible bulk. At 91 HP and 90 defenses, it can take a few hits, which surprisingly well, honestly. You actually have a chance of living a Plasma Fists from a Zeraora if you're at full. If you are actually just uninvested, which is pretty insane to me. If that gives you any indication of the bulk this thing has, it's like a 90% chance that you die, but like you have a chance, which is pretty crazy to me. Yeah, it's insane. Anyway, we have Resto, Chesto, Sleep Talk, Calm Mind, Scald. Now, you could run Leftovers on this, just since we are running Sleep Talk, but I like being able to have that control at the beginning of it to get those Calm Minds off. And then we've got Scald, again, to work with the Calm Minds to cover our physical defense from those physical attackers. Now, where you run into problems is physical water types that can't be, or physical fire types that can't be burned. That's one thing. So things like Arcanine are kind of a problem. But again, if you are set up enough with Calm Mind and you just OHKO it, then what do you care? Because otherwise Arcanine will kill you with a Wild Charge. But if you're set up enough and you just OHKO it because you're faster, then what do you care? So Scald's got enough power behind it that it can definitely work as that offensive option that also doubles as a defensive option. It's pretty cool. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Competitive Decks. Make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video tomorrow. It's going to be more Mystery Dungeon, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Anyway, see you later. Bye-bye.